What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. Welcome all my subscribers, welcome all my viewers, and welcome all those who have been watching and who haven't subscribed. Please make sure you subscribe, hit that bell button, hit all the notifications, so make sure that every time I drop a video, you won't be left outside the loop. Now, before I proceed with my video, I would like to say my videos are not for children. Let's get that straight. My videos are not for children. Since my videos are not for children, please remove them from your immediate vicinity, as my videos are not for children. Simple as that. No need to explain further. Also to mention, this does not constitute legal advice. The sole purpose of this video is for informational and educational purposes only. That is it. For general purposes. For any other inquiries, consult me on a private one-to-one basis. We'll take it from there. Other than that, I'm just explaining this for general purposes. Now that we got that out the way, let's proceed. The title of this video is called W-9 in Court. Now, I know I did a video prior talking about the remedy, which is taxable court cases. Now, the reason why you'd be taking a W-9 to court is because I say it time and time again. All court cases are tax matters. Whether they want to admit it or not, tell you why it is. Because in honesty, all courts that operate in the United States are courts of equity. Simple as that. In other words, every charge brought against you is a lawsuit. Anytime a monetary value is attached to a case, such as any charge, any infraction, any type of violation whatsoever they wish to call it, it is a monetary value attached to it. Period. Okay? Code of Federal Regulations 72 will tell you that. But don't need to take my word for it. You can look it up yourself. Every charge has a monetary value. Now, since it has a monetary value, that means that anything that's dealing with commerce is a taxable matter. So to get you your remedy and to get you an expedient remedy, this is what I have done. What you would do is you would take a Form W-9 and you would request for a taxpayer identification number and certification. That means that whomever is coming against you, 90% of the time to 95% of the time, in a court of equity, it is always the state. Again, anyone who acts on behalf of the state also is regulated to the state's taxation laws and the IRC, Internal Revenue Code. So you would politely go to the clerk's office, and then you would ask them, particularly with the W-9, that you would ask the clerk herself to fill out the information on W-9. Now, I know it might seem a little odd to some people, like, well, why would you ask a clerk to fill out a W-9? Good question, big answer. Because in all reality, the clerk has all the financial information, because you have to understand that every time you go to a window at a courthouse, stop looking at it as doing a place of business. Look at it just like a bank. You go to the teller. The teller has all the information on the account when you go to a bank, correct? So this clerk would have all the information that you would require to have been filled out on this W-9. Now, seems odd, but it's very realistic, because what you would ask for is two things. You would ask for the market value of the case, and then you would tell her to bring the ledger forward. Am I saying that this is going to be an easy process? Of course not. It wouldn't be, people, because you are not supposed to know this stuff. See, you are just supposed to know two things in the common sense of the general public. Obey and pay. That's all they expect you to do. We're not here to take liability upon ourselves. We're here to decrease the debt. We're not here to accept it. Capiche? Capiche. So in all reality, what you're going to do is to provide your correct TIN number to the person who's required to file an information return with the IRS to report. For example, income paid to you, real estate transaction, mortgage interest you paid, acquisition or abandonment of secure property, cancellation of debt, or contributions you made to an IRA, as I said in the previous video. However, when you understand the reality of this, is that you will need to obtain a commercial administrator's or clerk's permission to file an IRS, which is a 1099-A and a 1099 OID, on the case that they have issued of bid payment and performance bonds against the all caps legal name straw party, or also known as straw man. You can do this by their arrogance in the form of silence via certified mail. Let's just say, for instance, you go up there in person in good faith and they wish to not respond to you. Don't argue, don't become belligerent. You send it to them certified mail. But before you do anything, make sure you get the name of the clerk in which you are talking to. You may not get the actual clerk of the court themselves because they're usually off doing something else. Whoever acts on behalf of the clerk of the court acts on behalf of the clerk. Please remember that. Make sure you get their actual name. To whomever you talk to at that window, ask them, do they have a business card? Be polite, be cordial, but remember, you're going in to do some real clandestine work. The clerk, i.e. the bankers, because that's what they all are, people. Let's just look at it in the right, incorrect, and proper term. Will never answer you. You will be dishonored by every foreign agent, corporate courthouse of admiralty and equity. So just know that this information is for general and educational purposes only. You may file a letter of escrow instructions and notice of acceptance of value of the case with a notice of settlement report to the IRS, which gives you the right to file a 1099-A and a 1099 OID into the commercial case file. So what am I saying before I proceed? By their dishonor, by their arrogance, and by their silence, you are now given permission because it's tacit. Normally, in most cases, attorneys and judges will try to stop you from recouping on the tax forms because according to Title 26. Look into Title 26, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. But now you remove that. Once you got their acquiescence, you have their silence. So they can no longer say that you acted on behalf of them because by their silence, you also sent a letter of a notice of settlement report to the IRS. There you go. Now your remedy begins. So here's the kicker. Most of the time, they will not be apt to prosecute a case because they know that there is no monetary benefit for them. So when we do things in commerce, do not we expect to get paid? When we go to work, when we do anything with our energy, our sweat equity, do we not require something to be actually given to us? Yes, we do. If that was the case, then people wouldn't go to work. So do you understand what I'm saying? This is these people's job to extract revenue. But here's the dark side of the ledger. This is the tax matter that will save your ass in most cases. If you harmed a person or their property, this will not save you. But if you didn't harm a person or their property, you're in good hands. So now, with this being said, you will need the time and date stamps on an IRS form W-9, the A, the OID, etc. So in other words, it's always best to try to put this inside of documentation with paperwork. Some courts go through each and every document and stamp, stamp, stamp. I have proof, it's proven. They do it. You know what I'm saying? It is not their job to tell you what they will and will not file. Because remember, this form is related to the case. That's all you have to say. You don't have to really go into depth. If they're filing, they can say here, say whatever. Just simply state it's in regards to the case. So that way you don't come across as belligerent. So now these are exhibits that you will basically be supporting exhibits that you'll be given to the IRS. The IRS will see that the case is valued at and will expect the tax to be paid. This saves your ass because now they're informed that this is a commercial transaction and they have a market value of the case, and now they're expecting the taxes to be paid on this case. The saving grace in all of this, the simple fact of the matter, is that majority of the time, if not more so than less, they don't report the taxes on cases. I tell people all the time, most of these people simply report their salary. They don't report anything else. They report their salary, and that's it. So the IRS is expecting that this case that's being enumerated under whatever docket number it is, they're expecting tax to be paid. This is removing the liability from you. This is the truth. This is not anything that's anti-government or anything because you're going according to the compliance with the IRS. Let's get that straight. If anyone tries to say that this is something illegal, it's perfectly legal because it's removing the liability from you, which is the dollar amount according to the charge, according to the case, which gives the case its monetary value. Follow me, you know exactly what I'm saying. This is super legal. This is not illegal whatsoever. Because again, you are going in accordance with the Internal Revenue Code. So miss me with that if anyone has anything to say. So now, also to prove in furtherance of the support of that, you will agree to pay any tax associated with the value you have assigned to the commercial court case, which is also according to the Internal Revenue Code, not your own behest. It appears that the corporate court officials steal our private exemption to avoid their tax liability, again, under Title 26. You see what I'm saying? You may ask the clerk at the window or in open forum, i.e. in court, what the value of the case is. So you can actually ask them in open court, what's the value of this case? See, a lot of people go in there and try to argue the ups, the downs, the ins and outs, the constitutional rights and lefts. But I'm just showing you that the basis of the matter for any court case is simply commerce, people. Nothing more, nothing less. What is the value of the case? What is the QSIP number? What the QSIP number is, I should say, since you are aware that the case has been securitized and sold on the open market. The QSIP identifier is proof that the case has been monetized and securitized. You are not supposed to know this. The prosecutor and clerk are planning to float bonds out of the open market into investment pooling funds for profit on the benefit of their retirement accounts. Okay, people? So what you're doing is you want to see a statement of the account or demand that the clerk bring forth the ledger so you can see the breakdown of the charge to determine how the funds for the case are being dispersed. If they don't provide you with this information, you must inform the administrator or clerk, head bank teller. If they refuse to provide you with this information, you will assess the value of the case on box 4 of the 1099A or whatever. Dollar amount won't say, because this is for informational and educational purposes only. Now, what am I saying? In regards to this is nothing illegal, people. It's just a mode of operation that you were just not so familiar with. It's totally removing the liability, because the liability in any contract is always the problem. Once you remove the liability, there's no more problem. So if you didn't harm a person or their property, you're in the clear. You're removing the liability because it's a victimless crime. Now, if you did harm somebody or their property, there's pretty much nothing you really can do except try to settle the matter to the best of your ability. But again, people, it's just an insight on why you need to take the W-9 to court, to remove the liability and nothing else. That is simply what you're doing. Executing it in the proper legal fashion with the proper documentation in the proper and respective manner in accordance with all tax laws. And that's in less than 13 minutes. And all you're doing is just removing the liability. Because remember, anytime a prosecution or anytime any type of venture happens in court, that goes on a record of sorts. It's bad for you, but it's good for the opposite end of the ledger because they receive the benefit of the case and you receive the offhand. We have to reduce that, people. But the simplest way to reduce it, live your life peaceably, live your life in a manner that's respectful and obedient to all, and above all else, do no harm. Simple as that. Whenever a liability comes up, it is your responsibility and your duty to reduce it. Simple as that. But if you're living responsibly, then guess what? Your liabilities are reduced gradually throughout your life. It's all about how you live. The one most important thing you need to understand that the legal system tries to use against a lot of people is the fact that you behave in an unaccountable manner, which then justifies their actions they take against you. So as long as you don't do any of those things, you don't have to worry about anything. The only thing that you need to worry about is reducing the debt, and that's it. Getting the matter settled, discharged, so you can go on about your merry way in life. Just that simple, people. This is not a revolution. This is not some type of movement or some type of, way to wiggle out, because as power of attorney in fact, that you should possibly know, that you should know by now if you've been watching me for quite some time, it is your responsibility to handle all your matters legally on your own. We can't look for other people to help us with our problems, people. And this is for the general audience, to be honest with you. We cannot look for other people to help us. The only thing that we need help with, societal-wise, is changing the way we think. We change the way we think, then we change the way we respond to what's done in society, which means that now your power of attorney, in fact, your job is to remove the liability, not create it, remove it. Because remember, claims are liabilities that were created against you. Okay? So whenever someone has a claim against you, just remember, it's just a claim. It's the equivalent, if not the same. It's synonymous, but it's the same. Synonymous, same, legalese-wise, slippery slope. But what it is a claim. That's all it is. Someone saying you did something. That's not saying you did. It's just a claim. It's just like a lawsuit. Someone says you did this, you argue your side. We don't argue the case as creditors, people. Our job is to be competent enough to handle the liability in an appropriate manner And guess what? You remove the liability. If you do this in every instance, you also understand that this is where your returns come from. This is where you recoup your return. So anytime you get involved with the legal system, as much as we don't like it, this is where you recoup your returns from. But remember, if you don't recoup your returns and you don't do this in this proper manner, trust me, they are going to file taxes on it. Because every case that gets a judgment based upon it, they receive. You don't. I'm just saying, anytime you operate in commerce, as I said in the beginning of this video, don't you expect to get something in return? And it's not illegal. This is totally by all laws that are subjected to the Internal Revenue Code. Don't believe me? Look it up. If you don't believe me, you can turn this video off and act like anything I said didn't really even matter. But if you do, you take the actions for yourself, guess what? It all works out for your betterment, not your detriment. So with that being said, anyone wants to consult with me on a personal level, my email is in the video description and the comment section below. Again, this video is for general and informational educational purposes only. Just that simple. If you don't believe me, you can please read the Internal Revenue Code and all codes and all rules and instructions that coincide with the forms that I just mentioned on this video. Capiche? Capiche. And we give it to them. That's what we're here to do, people. 2025, people. It is time for you to take your stand. It is time for you to be a secured party creditor. Stop pretending. Because in reality, your life is not going to get any better by pretending. You must get proactive, because if you don't, someone else or some other entity will. You will lose. And it's nobody's fault but your own. That being said, email me, further consultation and information. It's what it is. We'll take it from there. Until then, y'all stay tuned for the next upload. And remember, your job is to reduce the debt, not increase it. Peace, light, love. Y'all take care. Aegis Man, fuck. I'm out.